Hi, boys and girls. Story called Red Riding Hood, retold and illustrated by James Marshall. This book is a 3.2, quiz number 68585. Here we go. As long time ago, it was a simple cottage beside a deep, dark wood. There lived a pretty child called Red Riding Hood. She was kind, considerate, and everybody loves her. One afternoon, Red Riding Hood, mother called to her. Granny isn't feeling up to stuff today, she said. So I baked some favorite custard as a little surprise. Be a good girl and take it to her, will you? Red Riding Hood was delighted. She loved going to Granny, even though it meant crossing the deep, dark woods. When the custard had cooled, Red Riding Hood's mother wrapped it up and put it into a basket. Now, whatever you do, she said, go straight to Granny. Do not tarry, do not speak to any stranger. Yes, Mama, said Red Riding Hood. Before long, she was in the deepest part of the woods. Oh, she said, this is scary. Suddenly, a large wolf appeared. Good afternoon, my dear, he said. Care to stop for a little chat? Oh, gracious me, said Red Riding Hood. Mama said not to speak to any stranger. But the wolf had such charming manners. And where are you going, sweet thing? He said. I'm on my way to visit Granny, who lives in a pretty yellow house on the other side of the wood, said Red Riding Hood. She's feeling poorly and I'm taking a surprise. You don't say, said the wolf. Just then, he had the likely idea. No reason why I can't eat them both, he thought. Allow me to escort you, he said. You never know what you might be lurking about. You're too kind, said Red Riding Hood. Picture. Beyond the forest, they came to a path of sunflower. Why not pick a few, suggested the wolf. Grannies love flower, you know. But while Red Riding Hood was picking a pretty bouquet, the clever wolf hurried on ahead to Granny's house. Who is it? Called out Granny. It is I, your delicious, darling granddaughter, said the wolf in a high voice. The door is unlocked, said Granny. Surprise, cried the wolf. Granny was furious as having the reading interrupted. Get out of here, you horrid thing, she cried. But the wolf gobbled her up right up. He didn't even bother to chew. Tasty, he said, patting his belly so tasty that then he heard a footstep up the garden path. Here comes dessert. And losing no time, he put on Granny's cap and glasses, jumped into bed, and pulled up the covers. Who is it? He called out. It's your sweetest Granny's voice. It is I, your little granddaughter, said Red Riding Hood. The door is unlocked, said the wolf. Red Riding Hood was distressed at seeing her grandmother so changed. Why, Granny, she said, what a big eyes you have. The better you see, my dear, said the wolf. And Granny, what a long arm you have. The better to hug you, my dear, said the wolf. And Granny, what a big teeth you have. The better to eat you, my dear, cried the wolf. And he gobbled her right up. I'm so wicked, he said, so wicked. But really, he was enormously pleased with himself and having to enjoy such a heavy meal. He was soon snoring away. A hunter passing by the alarm by the frightful racket. That doesn't sound like Granny, he said. And so the brave hunter jumped into the window, killed the sleeping wolf, and cut him open. Out jumped Granny and Red Riding Hood. We're so grateful, said Red Riding Hood. That wicked wolf won't trouble you again, said the hunter. It was so dark in there I couldn't read a word, said Granny. Red Riding Hood promised never ever to speak to another stranger. Charming manners or not. And she never did. Again, story called Red Riding Hood. 3.2 68585 is the quiz number. I hope you enjoyed the story. Thank you for listening, Mrs. Stewart. Have a good day.